Welcome one, welcome all to DeFi Crypto and Airdrops. I am Mike, aka Veteran Crypto, and this is Jeff, aka the Blockchain Report. And we have a great episode for you this evening where we're going to be talking about a cool new project, RWA Play and DePIN all wrapped into one called Pharos, which Jeff will get into here in a minute. And then also, we're going to circle back and one that Jeff was talking about a couple episodes ago, Plaza Finance, a DeFi play with ETH, bonded and leveraged ETH. I'm going to actually go a little bit in depth on that and explain how it works, how you can earn yield, and just different ways that you can earn and boost your earnings doing that. So, make sure you stay tuned to the end, and we'll get you some good alpha. But how's it going, brother?
Doing good, man. Doing great. Getting ready for this weekend coming up. Got a camping festival I'm getting ready for, so
Oh
haven't taken
yeah,
some
you and
time
your
off.
brother are
So
gonna go out and
yeah,
party it up. That's right.
yeah. Haven't been to a festival in quite a while, so it's time for some rest and relaxation.
Gotcha, gotcha,
But
gotcha.
how are you doing, man? How was that beautiful steak last night? And
Oh man, that thing was epic. It was like an inch and a half thick. I
Ooh,
got such a good char on the outside and was able to keep the inside nice and rare. So yeah,
oh,
me and my lady enjoyed that, and then just chilled the rest of the evening. But quick shout out to the chat. Appreciate all of you that
yes,
show up
yes.
every Monday and Saturday, and then all my little ones in between. But Richard, Sack Nasty, maybe Sack Nasty stepmom will she gets unstuck from the dryer will join us. We got
Gracious.
Better Try Again and Black Ice, and then we got everyone watching on X. If you want to join the chat or you have questions about DeFi or airdrops, please by all means follow us and jump in the chat on YouTube. We love when people ask questions. That's why we're here. We do this for free. We don't monetize anything. We don't ask for
Hmm.
subscriptions. We don't ask people to, super chat. We don't do, sponsors. We don't do anything. This is 100% free. We're passionate about it. We love it. And we just want to make sure that people are safe and are earning. And that's why we're here. So, if you could please follow, jump in the chat and start asking some questions and get knee deep in this and find out why all of
Hmm.
us are so passionate about it because we're all stacking money, no matter what the market's doing. The market's down, we're making money. The market's sideways, we're making money. The market's pumping,
Hmm.
we're really making money. So,
Even more money.
right, right. So, with that, Jeff will take us through our socials real quick and then we'll jump right into it.
Yeah, thanks for joining, everybody. Yeah, you can catch us live here on YouTube, especially if you want to catch us in the chat. But it's at DeFi Crypto Airdrops. We just added the S on there, so DeFi Crypto Airdrops every Monday and Saturday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can catch our brother channels too. They go live pretty much Monday through Friday in the mornings and afternoon. Discover Crypto, Blockchain Basement, BitLab Academy, mine, the Blockchain Report, and Vet's channel, Life, Liberty, and Liquidity. He goes live every Sunday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And they talk about more than just crypto stuff, so it's a good time. It's like round table talk with just talking shit about life and yeah,
I,
all the
I,
good
I
stuff,
I
all the
usually
juicy
get
stuff.
yeah, I usually get a little bit drunk and smoke a cigar, so it gets interesting.
And you can catch us on Twitter. You can catch Vet at Veteran4Crypto, and me at the BCR142. Make sure that you are following the right accounts, and we will not DM you. So if anybody that looks like us DMs you, just know it's a scam and try and find our right account. And if you can, DM us or
Yeah.
follow us, and we'll try and
If you contact us, we'll help you
yeah,
out, but we're not going to reach out to you ever.
or tag us in a
And
post or
and
something.
if you start talking to somebody and they start asking you for like access to your wallet or accounts or anything like that, that's not us. I have no
Hmm.
interest in having access to anything that you got.
Nope.
So real
Nope.
quick, oh,
Oh,
I'm
the
sorry.
Discord too. The Discord.
Oh yeah,
Is
I got
the
that.
is the Discord in here? Um, yeah.
Yeah,
So
right.
you can check out the Discord and Vet's in there posting all kinds of DeFi alpha, and I'm starting to post some airdrop stuff.
Hmm.
So check it out.
Yeah,
Um,
so the Discord is actually Discover Crypto. So you have access to TJ, DZ, and Josh. You have Blockchain Basement with Isaac and Drew. And you have Kelly over at BitLab
GitLab.
Academy, and then you have me and Jeff. For
Mhm.
so basically, it's anything in crypto. We got you covered. TA, news, trading, DeFi, airdrops, general crypto questions, like wallets and exchanges, all that stuff. So if you start an L Bank account and you get your
Mhm.
little ID, like your ID on the platform, and then come over to the Discord, you can submit that and get a free membership. So, either you can do
Yes.
that or you can pay 99 bucks a month. So, up to you.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so real quick before I turn it over to you, Jeff, it looks like we had two questions. So, Brian says, my plume pool I just recently started got kind of scared on the APR. Looks like that, yeah, it wasn't showing up. Don't worry about it. Some of these platforms are a little glitchy like that. You're still earning. Don't sweat that too much. The next one that he had was Upside Massive. Been hearing the videos back to back debating on the arrow lock for 4 years. Arrow lock, you can do it for shorter. You're just not going to get an equal amount. Like if you do 10,000 just for a round number, arrow and lock it, you'll get 10,000 VE arrow if you max lock for 4 years. If you do it for 2 years and you do 10,000, you'll get 5,000. Half the time, half the VE arrow. So it just depends on how bullish you are on arrow. Totally up to you. And then a quick disclaimer: none of this is financial advice. We're not financial advisors. We're just sharing our experience and our knowledge. And Jeff is actually from here on out. Whenever he's showing this airdrop stuff, we actually started a channel wallet that he's going to be
Mhm.
doing his airdrops into. And then once we get enough liquidity from the airdrops, I'm going to start doing it to DeFi to grow it. And we're going to see what we can do, because we keep telling people that you can start a portfolio with no money. So the criteria is that we can't inject any of our own tokens into the wallet or any of our own money into it. It has to be 100% free airdrops. And then with that, we're going to DeFi. So we're going to kind of put our money where our mouth is and show you that you can grow a portfolio with no money. So there is literally no reason that you can't start, getting involved in crypto, airdrops, and DeFi. So with that, Jeff, take it away.
So we taken the Pharaohs. The Pharaohs. Sorry, we're not going to Egypt. No, so we got a test net that just launched recently or within the past week. And it's a real world asset layer one blockchain. So similar to Plume in a way, but much different features. And we'll kind of go through how to participate. And you can do this completely for free, no money at all. So and that's what Mike was highlighting. We're doing these airdrops where you don't have to invest anything. And, go back and watch the stream we did on Initia and the airdrop that I got. And I'm reinvested that into DeFi. So I have it earning for me. I actually haven't harvested my rewards in a few weeks, so I need to go do that. But and yeah, my plume pool too. I think it's made $100 in the past week, so pretty
Yeah.
pretty nice. I need to harvest that. But yeah, Pharos, they do have, I think it's $8 million that they've raised in funding by quite a few VCs and investment groups, and these are some of the highlights of it. I mean, we
So this
can,
and this isn't live yet, correct? This is the test net. So this token
yes.
has not launched. This is this is again. I want to stress this because it's so important that a lot of these projects that Jeff talks about in these episodes are super early.
May
They haven't
16th.
even launched. So
Hmm.
these are, even better than low cap gyms sometimes. I mean, and they don't always pan out, but if you want to learn about early, projects, make sure that you're following Jeff on the blockchain report and watching here. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it just launched May 16th. Um, and their mainnet is planned to launch the second half of 2025. Now, I've seen some projects that could get pushed out. So, that's always a gamble, especially with market conditions, because there's been a lot of projects that were supposed to launch, 2 months ago or within the
yeah.
past few months, and they're still kind of waiting. But I don't know, man. I guess it all just depends on the scope. But like we said, this is incentivized, so you're just imagine being just a product tester. That's what I tell people. I product test crypto projects, stuff that they build, whether it's exchanges, bridges, uh, perpetual exchanges, perpetual trading platforms, whatever. You're a product tester. Because if you worked for a company and they go public, they would give you shares. And then it's essentially like that. You're just like a product tester for a company that when they launch their token, you get a little piece of that. So that's what the token airdrops. If those of you who are unfamiliar, it's it's kind of, when I tell people about this, they can't really comprehend the whole free money glitch. They're like, how does that even work? I'm like,
Yeah.
you're like, imagine being a bank, and the banks just use your money to make more money. So it's just a great way to leverage, especially your free time, and you're learning at the same time how all this stuff works
Well,
and what it is
actually,
too.
probably a better analogy is like the video game testers. Before they
Hmm.
launch a video game, they have people that come in and basically play the game and find
Hmm.
bugs. Find issues with the game before they launch it to the public, and people get paid for that. And it's the same thing. You are testing the software for bugs, glitches, any issues before they go live. And so, like Jeff was just talking about, for your time, they pay you in their native token. It might end up being worth nothing. It might end up being worth thousands. That's
Hmm.
the roll of the dice that you play. You might spend a ton of time doing it and it might not amount to much, but all it takes is a couple that make you a couple $100, a couple of $1,000 that makes it all worth it. So
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I've been on both ends of the spectrum where I minted a testnet NFT from Aptos before the Aptos network launched, and the airdrop ended up being over $1,000, and I spent maybe 10 minutes setting up the wallet and minting the NFT. And then I've been on the other side where I've spent over a year or two airdrop farming, and then the project gives you like a few dollars. So it can be really exuberant or really painful. So I guess it's kind of like leverage trading in a way.
so let's well, as far as Pharos, let's start with kind of what it is. So I know that something that really, when I started doing my research on it, that really jumped out at me is it's not just an RWA play, it's also a DePIN play. So, if you're bullish on either one of those, RWAs being real world asset tokenization,
Hmm.
like treasuries, stocks, real estate, any of that, and DePIN, or decentralized physical infrastructure, which is like cloud compute basically, to
Hmm.
where it uses latent compute power, so you don't have to have these huge warehouses full of supercomputers to compute data. They can basically use people's dormant laptops and desktops and whatever, to so it's, to me, that was very, very interesting and kind of unique. I haven't seen a whole lot of projects that do that.
No, and it's good to utilize the wasted energy in a way. I mean, energy is never wasted, but
that latent
Yeah,
compute power.
yeah. So every little bit matters, and
Well,
you can capture
and
that
there's that.
in
Well, I was just going to say there's that huge shortage of chips. I mean, you
true.
always hearing
Yeah.
about that. There's a shortage of chips and the raw materials to make more, and like you try to go get a graphics card, and all the miners are out there buying them up, and so you can't find them, and
Mm-hmm.
so this is a workaround for that.
Yeah, DeFi, decentralized AI. Um, I don't know what are SPNs?
I would say something
Can,
physical, like secure physical network. So Richard asks, what
okay.
chain is Pharaoh on?
I believe it's going to be its own. Yeah, it's its own layer one blockchain.
Yeah,
That's why I say it's a. I don't want to say it's like Plume, but Plume's a layer one. It's its own blockchain. Even though you could claim the token, the airdrop on Ethereum, but they haven't launched their actual mainnet yet. So imagine like Plume in the early phases, but this is going to launch in the second half of 2025. So, and a reminder, please use a wallet that is not the main wallet that you use for everyday
yeah.
interactions or where you store your money on.
So
Um,
just so people understand, it's Pharos network is its own layer one blockchain,
mhm,
but it is EVM compatible, which is important, for
mhm.
interoperability with the Ethereum chain, with all the RWA plays like Ondo and stuff like that. Ondo, made their own chain, that they're launching, but there is a lot of DeFi and a lot of RWA stuff that is on ETH mainnet. So and layer twos that are on ETH. So it's important that it's EVM compatible.
To garner the days of single chains where you can't talk to other chains because
Mhm.
you're gonna die.
Yeah. So another thing that's important to discuss is that this is a project that's meant for institutional use. This is more
Mhm.
it's not geared towards retail. However, Jeff is about to get into. I can see from where he's at on the web page, he's about to get into what I'm mentioning here. But I next I definitely want to touch on how this potentially is going to allow people like me and you to earn yield, or profit. So go ahead and take it away, Jeff.
Yeah, we want to go into the test net. Start
Yeah,
getting
yeah, go ahead.
into. All right. So you can. Well, I'll actually be posting this in the Discord, but I've shared this out on X, and we'll share all the links and stuff. But make sure you're following the right page so you get the safest links. Because some people out there are scammers. So
And there it
with
is.
that, yeah.
Here's the gold. Here's the gold.
All right, so this is the Pharos testnet. We'll just start right here. Experience the fastest EVM layer one powering the future of RWAs. See, this one looks cooler than Plume, honestly. But got a little octopus. So that
Still cartoonish.
still cartoonish. Okay, so this is our airdrop wallet right here. Um, yeah, each episode that we do these testnet projects, airdrop projects, we are gonna use this wallet. So we will show you everything. And like I said, if you're using Coinbase wallet or MetaMask, it can be painful switching or adding networks on like testnet networks to the wallet. Zerion or Rabby wallet work very well with testnets and integrating them
How
seamlessly.
how well is Zurion supported? Like is it supported by Aerodrome and Uniswap and all that?
I think so. I haven't used the wallet a
Okay.
lot. I used their platform years ago because
No
they
worries.
have,
I mean, we can
yeah,
we can talk about that another time. I was just curious, because when I start DeFiing with it, we might have to send the tokens over to like a Coinbase wallet or something. But go ahead, keep
yeah.
talking about Pharaohs.
Um, or I mean, we could just import the seed phrase from this into a Coinbase wallet. Or I
Yeah,
think I
no,
have the
no.
Coinbase wallet on here. Yeah.
Like I
But
said, no worries. Let's keep going with Pharaohs. We'll
well, and if people are confused, so just because they're different wallets, I just want to clarify real quick for people. So if you have a MetaMask or Zerion or Coinbase, just because they're different wallets doesn't mean that your wallet right here is different each time. You can take your seed phrase, which is the 12-word phrase, and type it in like the Coinbase wallet, and it will be the same address. So you don't have to worry about losing your funds.
I actually didn't know that.
Oh, no? Yeah, yeah. So
No.
the EVM wallet is so this wallet address right here is your Ethereum virtual machine wallet address.
Nice.
So
Okay.
that's, yeah, so you can move that to
Learn
any
learn
wallet.
something new every day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, and we can dive into that later on too. A lot of fun stuff. Okay, so when you're here, log in and scroll down, and this is where you claim your testnet tokens, a maximum of zero point 0.2 PHRS tokens every 24 hours. And they have a host of wallet support down here. We will say that we're not robots.
I fucking hate these
And
things.
uh, it's worse when they're the full picture and you have to click all the squares of the object and it never works.
Yeah. So Nathaniel, not necessarily a burn wallet. We just suggest that you use a wallet that's not your main wallet. Just because some of these projects that you connect to, some of them might be malicious, and so we just want to make sure that you're using something that they're not going to drain
Hmm.
your main wallet that has all your assets, or that you're using for DeFi or trading, or anything like that. Make sure that you're using a fresh wallet that if there's something malicious, there's nothing for them to take.
Yeah, and as soon as you get that airdrop, you send it out to your backup wallet.
Hmm.
Okay, I think I did it not. Okay, test tokens received. You might have to click it twice because a reminder, so these test nets, they are in development and some are really, really rough. And I've even had to step away from for like a week or two just for them to fix things. So there was an error the first time and then I click it again and it works. So sometimes you might even have to disconnect and reconnect your wallet and refresh. So it can be painful. That's why all the video guides that I do, I make sure to show all the technical errors and shit that I run into, so it it helps minimize your pain. So you can click right here and see you have your zero point 0.2 PHRS tokens. And we have our Twitter. I haven't done the Discord yet, but I need to log in. We can do all that later, but we'll hop over to experience after. Oh yeah, you can scroll down some more and look at this stuff, but we'll go to experience and we have our check-in right here. So this is daily check-in. And this is something I put on my bookmarks, right? Help me stay organized. And like I was showing this past weekend on Saturday, I got all of our test nets right here. I just click the right mouse button, open all 12, and then I run through them, and then I'm done. So that's a good way to stay organized and to help you. And once you get in a routine, the stuff gets faster and faster. So you
Dude,
can add more over time.
I'm excited for this fucking channel wallet, dude. I mean, between
Hmm.
your airdrop, knowledge and organization, and my DeFi, I'm hoping that we can grow this thing nicely.
Yeah, yeah, and Hope we get that extended bull run. So here's your experience in play. You have your referrals right here if you're a big influencer. Um, but yeah, they got the swaps, different on-chain tasks you can do. You can swap tokens, provide liquidity, send tokens to friends, invite friends, and then soon they will have a Pharos identity service. So probably like a domain name, and collect NFTs. So I'm not sure what those are, but these are different social tasks you can do, and join the Discord, follow them on X, retweet, reply. I think you can just, oh, I need to verify that first, but I'll do that later. So now that we have our testnet tokens, oh, and they have the ecosystem right here, but we don't really need to go into that because these are projects that are integrating with Pharos. So but I don't think there's anything we can do on these projects right now. But that's where you come to here, the experience. So we will swap some tokens on Zenith Swap. So there's a couple projects building out there, testnet. And sometimes if the Pharos network or like projects like Plume that are these mainnet blockchains, or even ZK Sync, projects like that didn't airdrop in the past, that sometimes they're not great, but if you're interacting with these projects building on that platform or protocol, you take advantage of those too. Because some people get pissed off, that this project didn't give them a good airdrop, and then they fade everything else that's building on that network, and you lose out on a lot of opportunities. So here we will, oh man, do we have to connect?
Hey,
Okay.
Crypto G, it's yeah, we're not shilling this project. You can't even buy this
Mm-mm.
token yet. So it's not like we bought a bunch and we're trying to get people to buy it. This is an airdrop.
Mm-hmm.
Mainnet's not live. We're just trying to earn tokens, so whenever it does drop, we get some free money. So yeah, we don't shill here. It's if we're talking about a project that we own tokens in, I show my portfolio on a regular basis. Anybody that watches the channel, I show my portfolio on a regular basis. Everyone knows what I have. So
Mm-hmm.
just if you're new to the channel, we're not that kind of channel, brother.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is only thing required is your time and a little bit of brain power, because sometimes
Yep.
this can be mentally taxing, but that's why we're here to help. But yeah, once you get logged into this, what is this, Zenith? So you got your tokens right here, and we'll go to this faucet and get some testnet tokens on Zenith Swap. Because even though you got testnet tokens from Pharos, you have different ones that projects will offer for their platforms. Kind of like the Aave ones that you deposit and liquidity and borrow. They'll have their own testnet tokens. So make sure that you check the faucet page on each one of these projects. And then we will go to trade. You can check out the different tokens to swap from right here. So I'm just going to wrap a little bit of this.
You gotta wrap it before you stack it. You gotta lick it before you stick it.
Oh, maybe it's and this is the thing with testnet. So tokens, it doesn't say that there's anything in my wallet. So let's see.
Oh shit. Looks like my ETH might be going back into range here in a second, and I might need to rebalance my Bitcoin if it keeps moving up like it is.
Oh, were the markets pumping?
Not
I didn't happen to
not
see.
pumping, but they're trickling up.
Okay.
Bitcoin's at 105.6 right now. 57.
See, I am not seeing any activity on the Zenith swap. So I'm not sure, because I was having some issues with this when I was making the video last night.
Well,
So
while you're looking at that, I'll throw out a little more info on the
yeah.
project. So, investors like us,
Mhm.
so on this project, we can earn yield or rewards by helping fund real world projects. So, like solar farms, logistics operations, just all kinds of different stuff like that. You can also, let's see,
Oh, because it was on the wrong network.
oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
And it also creates a marketplace where real world businesses can raise money using tokenized assets. So basically, they can tokenize, basically RWAs. They can put them on a marketplace, use them as collateral to get loans. So, like, say, like me and Jeff wanted to start a business or something like that, and I wanted to, put certain assets like vehicles or real estate or something
Hmm.
on chain, tokenize them, and then use those as for a collateralized loan where people like you out there could give liquidity if you believed in whatever it was that we were trying to do, and you could earn yield off of providing that loan. So, but go ahead if you got it figured out now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it looks like the website is kind of glitchy because this did drop in and out, and it could have issues connecting to the network. But if you're in your wallet, make sure that it says Pharos testnet in the network section, because sometimes it'll still be connected to Ethereum or something. But yeah, see how it dropped out? Now it's gonna come back in. But once you are able to swap, just do a little token swap. That'll give you an interaction, because it's important to get these smart contract interactions with these test nets. Is building up your little digital footprint on the network. And then once you do the little swap, you can provide liquidity. You can click here and deposit, or just go over to the pools, because there's a trade, pools, and go to all pools, and you can see the different ones right here. Now, once you get into real world DeFi, like where your money's on the line, not test nets, you really want to pay attention to the TVL and volume and stuff. On the test nets, just I would interact with each one of these. Swap a little bit of Pharos for USDC and USDT, and then you can provide liquidity in each one of these pools, and it'll just help increase your on-chain footprint for these airdrops, because
It's a,
sometimes
it,
that is a requirement.
hey Jeff, our boy Josh is in the chat. Josh Dallas.
Oh, what up?
Yeah, man, I haven't seen him
Yeah, how's
forever,
the
man.
sea
Good to see you, brother.
man? How's that seaman over there?
Yeah, yeah, he's been on the boat doing some piracy.
Oh man, he is
And
the
then
captain now.
yeah, and then XRP Rel says he's getting started. They're getting started in their first test net with the channel. So shout out to
Yes,
XRP Rel.
yes, yes. Okay, we're just gonna throw. What is this? Did I get Pharos USDC? Yeah, I'll just add liquidity in here, and we'll do a full range. And oh, I have to initialize. Oh, the pool needs to be initialized. We'll approve. And see, going through this helps get you familiar with the process of swapping tokens, providing liquidity, and just getting familiar with everything, because it does seem really daunting at first, especially when your real money's on the line, because you don't know how things are going to act. But man, once you really get a feel for it, it's just hands off the wheels, man. Jesus, take the wheel.
Yeah, Jesus, take the wheel.
And then lastly, you can come here and send some Pharaoh's tokens to a friend. So I'll send some over to myself.
You're your own best friend.
Your own best friend. It's like, hey,
Yeah, it's
nice
like
to meet you.
nice nice to meet me.
And there we go. We sent that. Now you can invite friends, share your link, make sure they're not a robot. And step 2, you can earn rewards. And bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, so later on, they'll have the Pharos Identity Service and collect NFTs. And who was it that asked about the funding? Somebody,
Oh yeah, yeah.
oh, James Coney, yeah. Uh, Pharaohs. I have the list right here on Crypto Rank. Hack
Yeah, where-
VC, Faction, MH Ventures, SNZ
Oh,
Holding,
that's
yeah,
it.
eight
Yeah,
8 million. Hash Global. So
yeah. A
yeah.
bunch of VCs. Basically, like most projects, a bunch of VCs are the early investors. But yeah, I mean, like Plume, if it starts getting traction and people start liking what they see, might see some big money players start to throw some funding in.
And this testnet's much cleaner than Plume's. I like, the step-by-step process. And Plume, it was cool, but some of these testnets are just kind of clunky and all over the place. But yeah,
If you want to bring up my screen real quick,
yeah, I'll swap you over.
well, just I want you to walk people through this. So, this is basically, kind of the architecture and how it works. You got the L1 extension, the
Mhm.
heterogeneous computation, the L1 core consensus network, and then the L1 base data availability and acceleration.
Yeah, yeah.
This might, what, forget it. This might be too technical. Let's not go that deep.
Well, when
Go ahead.
you imagine being on a highway and being on one lane, that's like Bitcoin and Ethereum. You're just on the highway, one lane, and the more traffic, the slower you're going to go, the more expensive it's going to be.
Yeah.
So these modular or, um, yeah, modular blockchains and stuff that can be, imagine Lego pieces,
Yeah.
that you can customize and put together and have traffic flow on different layers. And then it all comes together. And some projects even offload it to, some other, yeah, offline stuff and even cell phones, like what they're
Well,
doing
like
here, light
DAG,
clients. They're doing light
that
clients here.
like DAG,
Oh, yeah.
it's another one that's like this, where it's not that, single lane.
Hmm.
Basically, data can, nodes can, talk to, any other node.
Hmm. Yeah, you have to, man. I mean, especially what we've seen with trying to onboard just the people that we have now and Ethereum, the gas fees in the bull run, you're looking at minimum $100 easy for a swap. So,
Yeah.
just imagine 5% more people onboarded. No way. I'm not touching Ethereum.
Gotcha. You can go ahead and jump back to your screen. I thought this was
Oh no,
pretty
that's really it for the test net.
okay,
And like I
cool.
said, I'll be dropping the video tomorrow, and I'll be posting that in the Discord as well. But yeah, there you go. Easy money. Just a little bit of
Awesome. All
time,
right,
man. A little
so
bit of
I'm going to lean on you, Jeff, a little bit on this because I know that you did an airdrop or did some stuff with Plaza Finance, and you're actually earning on some of that bonded ETH, and you
time. Hmm.
were actually telling me that you made quite a bit of money off of it. So
Yeah.
to give people a quick rundown, a couple episodes ago, this is one of the projects we talked about that Jeff was doing a airdrop for. and he earned was it what was it bonded ETH that you earned?
Yeah, I have it pulled up. Right, I had it pulled up before the show, so in case I needed to bring it up. But this
Yeah,
is
show that real quick.
the position I have on this. It was the leveraged ETH. I took the bonded ETH I have, and it was
Yeah.
like $200, and I put it in the aerodrome pool because it
Okay.
earns me points on here. Um,
Yes. And I'll get into that.
so yeah, so I have my leveraged ETH, and I think I had like $20 in or something like that, and I've earned 30. So, or no, it was like 15, $17 because I've earned 160% on that.
Nice.
And yeah, I just, what they did when before Plaza launched their mainnet, you deposited wrapped ETH or whatever asset into their pool, and then when they launched mainnet, they split it. It was like 70-30 into 70% what is it, bonded ETH and 30% leveraged ETH.
Mm.
So I had that $17 or whatever, and then it went up to, it was over $50 at the highest. But yeah, I saw people who ended up, who had a few hundred in there, ended up with a few thousand. So it
Yeah.
was a
It's definitely been treating people pretty nice. But
mm-hmm.
so if you want to kick it back over to my screen,
Yeah.
I'll run through this real quick. All right. So you have the bond token, which is earn stable perpetual income by purchasing bonded ETH, a token backed by stake ETH assets. So basically, every quarter, as long as you have it in there, you earn a yield. And and I'll get into kind of how that breaks down and how that pays out here in a second. But that one is the safer play. If you're more of a long term residual income, bonded ETH would be the way that you'd want to go. Now, if you're a little bit more of a degen, and just like in trading, and not that trading is degen, but if you're a degen in trading, then you want to and you use leverage, and you know what I'm talking about here. You can use like 2x, 3x, 10x, 100x if you're super degen, and amplify, basically what it is. Like, say you put $1,000 in and you do 10x leverage, it acts as if you are using $10,000 because of 10x, 1,000 times 10. But there's liquidation levels. So the cool thing about this is there's no liquidation. So you can amplify your Ethereum exposure with leveraged ETH, a no liquidation leveraged token. Again, we'll get into the details of that. And then, like Jeff mentioned, because he had that bonded ETH, he was able to deposit that liquidity over on Aerodrome, and he's boosting his rewards. So boost your rewards by adding liquidity to bonded ETH, slash USDC, and or leveraged ETH USDC pools. Earn 20 points for every dollar per day. So basically, you earn these points, and the points reward you. So over here on Aerodrome, you can see I pulled it up, and you're not going to earn, just kind of natively on Aerodrome right now. There's not enough TVL. This just came out. There's not enough TVL. There's not enough people that are swapping between, bonded ETH and USDC and leveraged ETH and USDC to really earn any fees. Um,
Yeah,
but
mine haven't really done
no,
anything just because I'm just doing it for the points on Plaza.
exactly. That's the play right now.
Hmm.
Eventually, if this does build up, there might be a play there to where you can actually earn. But right now, there's zero APR, and I mean the bonded ETH has 11 cents, of fees that it's earned. It's negligible, but you're earning those points, and so it's one way of
Yeah, I'm ranked
yeah,
500 right now.
yeah,
520, 527. I don't know out
yeah.
of how many, but I'll take it.
So as you see here, you have leveraged ETH. So if you deposit $1,000 worth of liquidity, And what you're doing with leveraged ETH is you're betting that ETH is going to go up. You're going long on ETH. And so what you do is if you're depositing $1,000, then you can use this slider and you can say, actually you can go short on it too. You can do 100% short, or, because it's a negative number, or you can use this slider and you can go to where, say that I want to do, 31.6%. If the price of ETH increases by 31.6% and the leverage is 5x, then my return on investment would be $1,580. So again, you're depositing $1,000 and potentially you're earning 1,580. It just depends on how bullish you are on ETH. Again, if you're not bullish and you want to go short, then you can, use the slider and go the other way. Let's see. What else do we got here?
Yeah, I'm glad
And
they have
then,
that position simulator. I wish more projects had
yes,
something like that.
I
They're
know,
really
I
good.
know. And of course you have the chart as well.
Mm.
So you can look at the day, the week, the month, the year, or all time. And this is a pretty new project. It looks like the 28th of April. So, there's not a lot of historical data. Um, but like with this one, with the bonded ETH, it's and I want to emphasize this. It's more for people like myself that are looking for just long-term residual income. You're not looking to get rich quick. You're not looking to make, big leaps. And, you can do both. Just do a smaller amount on the leveraged aspect. But say that you put $1,000 into bonded ETH, it would give you a annual coupon of $101.37. So basically, roughly 10%, which in traditional finance is, considered a really good year. So, it's not, and I don't want to say it's guaranteed because, obviously there's risks, with the platform and pools and, the normal stuff that you deal with in crypto. But as far as crypto goes, this is it's a mitigated risk play to where, you can, potentially earn again this residual income that's paid out quarterly. So in this case, $1,000, I'd get paid roughly $25 every 3 weeks or 3 months, excuse me. So, you can, obviously increase that. Say I put $10,000 in, then that would be an annual coupon of $1,000. So that would be $250 every 3 months. So, it's again, this is just another play that you could do that is, less risky than some other DeFi plays. If if you have ETH, if you're bullish on ETH, so that's
Mhm.
pretty much what's that?
Yeah, Stan, no liquidations. And I've seen some projects do some no liquidation stuff in the past with different DeFi plays, but yeah, it's really, it makes you feel a lot better.
Yeah. So actually, you know what? Let me read a little bit about the no liquidation and stuff like that, just so we're a little clear. We have a little bit of time. So, what is leveraged ETH? Leveraged ETH is a leveraged token issued by a vault containing liquid staked and liquid restake representations of ETH, designed for investors seeking higher returns. Leveraged ETH offers leveraged exposure to ETH related assets without the risk of liquidation. Benefit from the growth potential of Ethereum staking with amplified gains, all while being protected from forced liquidations during market volatility. So, how does it work? We won't get into that. I just want to get into the liquidation free. Leveraged ETH provides levered exposure to ETH price without the risk of liquidation. Leveraged ETH is liquidation free because the Plaza protocol ensures there's always ETH related tokens in the pool that leveraged ETH holders can redeem for their leveraged ETH for. This is maintained by the following properties of the protocol. Leveraged ETH has dynamic market set leverage. Bond ETH can be created and redeemed permissionless and provides the leverage to leveraged ETH by contributing ETH related tokens to the pool for a fixed return. So they work in tandem. Bonded ETH coupons pause under extreme market conditions if the price of ETH falls such that a USDC coupon exceeds the value of the ETH related tokens in the pool. So there's smart contracts being used that are ensuring that certain aspects of these pools are in place to make sure that they stay profitable and that they don't get liquidated. So, you might not be able to immediately, if there's extreme volatility. The way I'm reading this is you might not be able to, immediately redeem your coupon for that quarterly return on the bonded ETH. You still have it, and whenever it meets the parameters again, you'll be able to cash that out. But it just
Mhm.
basically is it's like keeping a run on keeping or staving off a run on banks. If there's a bunch of volatility, you don't have everybody
Mhm.
running to the pool trying to rip their liquidity out, or trying to redeem those coupons. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's very similar to a lot of these validator nodes that you stake to.
Mm-hmm.
They have these unbonding periods, or even some liquidity pools have certain cooldown periods where it's a week, 2 weeks, a month. And at first I was like, what the fuck? Why can't I get my money? But I understand, that's where you got to know going into it. Like, okay, I need to check to see if there's a cooldown period before I even invest in this. Because if you're trying to get your money out, you're trying to get liquid, in 24 hours, and it says, oh, 21-day unlock period, you're fucked. So just
Mm-hmm.
make sure.
All right. So, real quick, just to close this out, um, let's take a look. I usually do this at the beginning, but DeFi Llama. So, this is the total value lock and the DEX volume or decentralized exchange volume, like Uniswap, Aerodrome, stuff like that. And you can see, so far this year, 2025, we've been pretty steady. We're starting to see some growth. We're seeing some volumes on dexes. That's how all of us in DeFi are making money. So that's looking good. I'll go through some of my positions. I'm actually testing out this ETH USDC right now because it has these. It's on Uni chain, so it actually
Hmm.
has like right now. I'm looking at uh, like I'm only earning 3.5% because of the range I picked, but I'm getting a bonus 27% being paid out in this Uni token or the Uniswap token, and you can see I've already earned a couple. Um, but there's a bunch of these. ETH USDC, Wrapped Bitcoin USDC. There's a bunch of them you can earn that bonus yield on. The plume positions we're always talking about, like I forget who it was earlier. They were talking about the APR is missing. You can see sometimes it glitches out. You're still earning. This one, I set a super wide range on this plume pool, 15 cents to 25 cents. And you can see this is, just in the past 2 weeks, I've earned $250. So basically 10% in the past 2 weeks. So I'm on track to make 20% per month, return on investment on this pool. So, gives you an idea of, kind of why we're always talking about Plume and, using DeFi, because the cool thing about Uniswap is the way that it pays you out in the tokens that are in the pool. So I'm earning a roughly equal amount of Plume and USDC in this. So if I click on it, you'll see that my earnings, I've earned 713.8 Plume and 124 USDC. So I've earned about an equal amount of Plume and some dry powder, USDC. So what I do with my yield, especially since the market hasn't taken off yet, and I haven't started, laddering out of my positions, I'm I wait until all my DeFi positions have enough yield in them to where I can harvest it all and have like 500 or 1,000 or 1,500 bucks, and I do it about, every couple of weeks or every month. And I start new positions, some of the new positions that I've started is you can see this 1,300 bucks, this USDC wrapped Bitcoin. That was last month. That was yield that I earned last month. I harvested it all, and I started this position. So this is all free money from last month on my DeFi positions. You know,
What?
you can see this USDC arrow, even though it's a full range position. I have 1,700 bucks in there, and so far this month I've earned 40 bucks. On the wrapped ETH, USDC, you can see, I'm just out of range on it, but it went into range for like 2 days, and I earned 50 bucks off of 4,000 bucks in 2 days. So you can kind of get an idea of how well that earns. Up here you can see I have another full range position on Aerodrome, earning 35% APR, and this is actually for more than just 2 weeks, but I've earned $74, off of that. It doesn't seem like it. $2.65 doesn't seem like a lot per day, but you can see how quickly it adds up. And then, of course, I have these positions. So this this wrapped Sonic position, this is all yield that I harvested as well. It's about 400 bucks that I deposited. Right now I'm about $34 down because the price of Sonic went down. But I've earned $5 in yield. And when Sonic goes back up, then that negative number will go away. But I'm earning 113% yield on this position. My AVAX USDC position, I put in 1,000 bucks. I'm down 72 bucks because the price of AVAX went down, but I've earned $22 in yield. And so again, once this goes back up, then that's a positive number. I'm getting price appreciation plus the yield. So when you're tracking your positions, and I highly suggest that you join the Discord, I shared my tracking sheets in there, my ladder out, tracker that you can build out your ladder out strategy, and I'll answer that here in a second.
Hmm.
Um, you know, track your token count. Track your dollar amount as well, but so that you don't get discouraged, track your token count because the markets might go down and you might be like, oh shit, I'm losing money. However, as far as your token count is always going up. So the key is in these sideways and in these down markets is ensuring that your token count is going up, because when markets go back up, you're going to be in a much better position than you were before. For example, back in November when I started with $15,000 in my DeFi portfolio. Right now, even though the markets are down from that time period, I still have I actually have more dollar value even because of me compounding that yield. I have about
Mhm.
$25,000 now in my DeFi positions, and I can actually show that real quick. And when the markets go back up to where they, kind of the local, highs, where like Aerodrome's at $2.20, and ETH gets back up to like 4,000, 4,500. I'm actually going to have $70,000. Last time I did the math, which is a couple weeks ago, it might be more now, but I'll have $70,000, which is 100% from that initial $15,000 that I put in. So just in the
Mhm.
past 6-ish months, I've managed to earn enough tokens from that 15,000, enough yield from that 15,000 that I've compounded back into opening new positions and increasing my existing positions. to where I'll have around $70,000 or more. So it shows you the power of the compounding yield.
Mm-hmm.
And so, real quick, I'll answer that question. Hey, Ellie, how's it going?
Hello.
So, what platform am I using? So, this one here is Beefy. So, Beefy is an aggregator. It actually gives you access to a bunch of different platforms, and it depends on a DeFi aggregator gives you access to multiple chains and multiple platforms. So in this case, you can look at Avalanche, you can look at Arbitrum, you can look at Base, Barachain, BNB. List goes on. Ethereum. I mean, there's all kinds of different chains that you can look at. You can look at pools. So liquidity pools, concentrated and full range pools. You can look at vaults, which are usually baskets of assets. You can look at stable coin pools. You can look at blue chips. You can look at correlated pairs. There's a lot of different things you can do on these DeFi aggregators. Now, this one here is same thing. It's VFAT, just a different UI or different user interface, but you can interact with different protocols like again, like ETH. You can look on Aerodrome, Base Chain, all these different things, and it just saves you time and gives you added functionality. So there's a lot of things that you can't do natively, for example, on Aerodrome Finance, but this platform you can migrate, like I did with this USDC Arrow position from Aerodrome. I migrated it, like up here. You can click on migrate, and it will move that NFT over here to VFAT, so that I can auto rebalance, I can auto compound, I can auto
Powerful
harvest.
tool.
Very
Powerful
very
tool.
powerful tool. Is
On the
that
last, I think it was the last page you were on, as she asked that, is the wrapped ETH AVAX USDC on
on which one?
the last protocol that you were on, or the page?
Oh, that was probably Beefy. So this right here, this wrapped AVAX USDC.
I don't see
So
it
the
on the screen.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, this wrapped AVAX
Okay.
USDC. I actually deposited some of my AVAX into this because I've been wanting to earn on AVAX, and I found this, and it's been earning me, a pretty good amount of money. I mean, $20 in the past week or so. Just off of $1,000 of liquidity. So it has nothing to do with ETH. This is on the AVAX, chain. I think it's the C chain or something like that. But basically, I just came here to Beefy. I clicked on this pool, and you can see that I can deposit liquidity. So I can come here and select. So I have like another 1.89 AVAX if I wanted to deposit that. I could deposit that, or I could move some AVAX into whatever wallet, and I could actually deposit that liquidity, here on Beefy. And and then it has a thing called a Zap, and so I don't have to deposit AVAX and USDC. I can just deposit any token that is on the AVAX chain, and it will automatically divvy it up to deposit that liquidity. So it's automated, kind of like VFAT is. That's what I love about these aggregators. They make it so much easier to interact with these protocols.
Dude, zapping into using one asset, like it's
Yeah,
just so much easier. So much easier.
exactly, exactly. Yes, Ellie. So it's a regular AVAX that I deposited. So yeah, it makes it so. Yeah, Beefy is just
Mhm.
another DeFi aggregator, like I said. Just like BFAT. So it's just a new one that I'm testing out for the community, just to make sure that it's safe. So far, I've had zero issues with it. It works great. So if you want to test it out yourself, go ahead. but there's a lot of automations with it. So this pool that I'm in, just every so often, like a couple of times a day, it auto compounds for me. So like my earnings, it auto compounds it back in. And so it's kind of like those locks in that VE Arrow relay. It's just all automated to where it just does all these things for free, and you still vote on Aerodrome.
Drone.
So when it comes to what we're talking about here, Mister Q, so I'll come back over to here. When it comes to these pools, these aren't locks. This has nothing to do with the voting. That's a totally separate thing, and I'll show you here in a second. These pools, this USDC Arrow, they're full range liquidity pools. So over here on Aerodrome, you have liquidity. You can see on top, you have liquidity, and you can see these USDC Arrow pools. This is where you're providing liquidity for people to swap between these two assets, and you're earning yield for that. Now, the voting is the locks. Oh, hold on. What do we got going on here? There we go.
Bug.
Yeah, there we go. All right. So, as you can see here, this is the locks. This is where the voting happens. So, when you create a lock, I created this because I was testing it out for Ellie. She was asking about being able to increase a position because she had entered a position that was shy of the 2,500. And she was, and we were wondering if she could add to it to get the flight school bonus, which I don't think you can, but do your own research. But
Oh, adding to remember we saw it on Saturday. You add to the same lot or
yeah,
the same NFT.
I did some research, and I don't think that it will. You can increase your position, but I don't think from the research I did, the way I understood it is it wouldn't qualify for the flight school bonus.
Oh
It
shit.
has to be the initial lock has to be 2,500 or more. I honestly, if that's the case, I don't see
Hmm.
why you'd want to increase a position. I would rather open a new position to get the flight school bonus.
Yeah.
But back to my point, this is where the voting happens. Now, when you create a lock to get the weekly rewards, you have to go in here each week and physically vote. However, if whenever you create the lock, I highly suggest, especially if you do 2,500 arrow or more, so you qualify for the flight school bonus, that you put it in this VE Arrow Maxi relay. So you deposit the lock, or you create the lock, you deposit the lock in the VE Arrow Maxi relay, so that you get the 1.25x multiplier on your flight school bonus. And you can see that's what I did. I initially put in 5,100 arrow. I got the flight school bonus, which was 2,600 arrow. And every week, this VE Arrow Maxi relay votes for me. So it's all automated,
Hmm.
and it auto compounds every week for me. I'm all about easy money. Everything that I like to show on here is automated. It's, not a lot of maintenance because I know a lot of you out there have jobs and other responsibilities. DeFi should be painless. It should be easy. It should be like having a small business that's being run for you. That's what I try to show on here. So,
Hmm.
anybody have any other questions?
No. Ellie said she'll try Beefy out, and it's
Oh,
almost
okay.
payday Wednesday for Arrow.
Yep, yep. Here in a couple days, we get paid on Wednesday evening. Gonna take kiddo to the playground. All right, Black Ice. We'll talk to you later. We're closing out anyway. If nobody has any questions, I think that's it. But by all means, if you're new to DeFi, go ahead and actually I'll pull it up real quick just to close things out. I really want to stress this. One, in the Discord, you can join that, and you can join the community. But here, I started this DeFi Academy. So follow the channel. I'm going to be busting these out as quick as I can. They're basically going to be lessons one after another, and it's each one in a kind of a military style of learning, or just a basic instructional style. The first one is just the basics of DeFi. The next episode is about wallets. And so each one I build on the knowledge of that I teach in the previous one. So it's not like you have to jump around and figure out what episode to watch. Just start with number one, go to number two, go to number three, and it's just going to have a logical progression. If you're new to DeFi, this is going to be a really good way for you to learn. And eventually, we'll get to the point where we're teaching advanced strategies on flywheels, like borrowing and lending flywheels. Ways that you can leverage your hodl bags and your earnings to long and short, different like ETH and Bitcoin and things like that. Whenever you feel like the bear market's coming, if you think that a dump is coming, we'll show you ways that you can profit from that, in your DeFi positions, and position yourself to make money no matter what the market's doing. If it's going sideways, up, down, doesn't matter.
Mhm. Yes.
So with that, you got any closing thoughts, Jeff?
No, I see Brian just asked, even if I have a lock of 1K arrow, I have to vote. That's if you want
Yes.
to get the rewards. Yeah.
If you well, you don't
Or the
have to vote.
10%.
Actually, you what you need to do, Brian, with that 1,000 arrow, arrow, is you want to put it in that VE arrow maxi relay. Deposit it in there. What that
Yeah.
does is you're delegating your voting power to that that server or that node or whatever, and they are voting for you. And so what
Hmm.
they're doing is they're voting on where the emissions are going to go. And some of the other episodes that we've done, and I'll talk about it again, is the way that Aerodrome works is VE arrow holders vote on where they want the yield or the emissions, to what pools they want to incentivize or pay out to get people to deposit liquidity into. And so you can either vote yourself each week so that you get, those rewards every week, or you can deposit it in one of those relays, let them vote for you, and then you just automatically get, that weekly payout. So it's up to you if you want to do it manually, or if you want to, allow somebody to vote for you. Either way, your lock is safe, you're earning yield. It's up to you.
Yes, yes. A lot of good stuff. Yeah. And no question is stupid in here.
No,
Yeah.
the
Ask-
only stupid question is the question unasked. So,
yeah.
Jeff, do you have any closing thoughts before we go? Or
Take advantage of these free testnet projects, especially if it just takes a little bit of your time. Like there are some test nets that require you to have some Ethereum on mainnet, but these we're just showing you ones that you can just set up a wallet and go and not have to worry about a lot of frustration and getting, I have to buy crypto through an exchange. No. So we're gonna try and help guide you along, but make sure to follow along with us. Go back and watch the last video and where we started talking about my process and all the projects that we're going through. So, and the video description I updated in the DeFi Toolbox episode 3, the one that we did on Saturday, with all of the projects that we covered and the video guide that I did with them along. So each one you can go through. And if you have any questions, reach out on Twitter, hit us up in the Discord, and I will be happy to help you walk through anything. And yeah, but we appreciate you all for joining us and tuning in and asking questions. And being silly. We appreciate
Absolutely.
all the good insight and uh,
So on the way out, shout out to Ellie, Josh, Alexandria G, Brian. Appreciate all the questions, brother. Black Ice, Mr. Q. Who else we got? Who else we got?
Ryan
Stan.
Hitholder.
Uh, I don't even dialect or I don't even know. Who else we got?
Yeah.
XRP Rel, Boosted, James Coney, Nathaniel. Appreciate all of you, showing up
Crypto
and
G, man, we
and
got
asking
so many
questions.
people. We got so many
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
Falco.
it's getting to the point. It's going to take too long to rattle them all off. So no, we appreciate all of you and all of you on X. Please by all means come over, follow us
Mhm.
on YouTube, and jump in the chat. We definitely want you talking to each other, helping each other out. Answering each other's questions and asking us questions. Again, L Bank. If you go start an L Bank account, get your UID. Your UID number whenever you start that account, come over to our Discord and post that, and you'll get a free membership to the Discord. And in there, I have those tracking sheets that I use that have all the formulas like in the spreadsheets, so that you can track all your DeFi positions. You can build your ladder out strategy, and it will tell you, after you plug in all your numbers of how many tokens you have, and what percentage that you want to cash out at what price points. It will tell you, hey, this is what you can expect if you hit all your targets. This is what you're going to cash out at the end of the bull run. A lot of really useful tools, and they're all free. Once you get in there, we don't, like, again, we don't charge for anything. Us, me and Jeff,
Yeah.
all of this is free. We don't make a penny off of any of this that we do. We just want to help all of you out there be profitable, be happy, and use DeFi and airdrops and crypto to change your lives and change your family's lives. So with that, till next time, Veteran Crypto out.
Yes. Yes.